Welcome back to the Hannah Vance Show with Hannah Vance. I'm your host, Hannah Vance. Welcome to the Hannah Vance Show starring Hannah Vance. Today, we're going to be talking with several guests about a new candidate for Times Man of the Year, 1517, Martin Luther. Our guest is well known for calling out the church on a lot of their BS. It is rumored that the Catholic Church is guilty of kidnapping the unholy and running chemical experiments in the laboratory underneath the Vatican. We're kidding. The church is actually guilty of more humane things, like selling indulgences to the people and being just corrupt. Our guests for tonight's program include Martin Luther, Pope Leo X, a Protestant, some random guy we found on the street, Lex Luthor, and God himself. Welcome to my office where I will interview all my guests. And now, Martin Luther. Why do you deserve to be Man of the Year? You don't.
What I'm doing right now is pretty great, you know? I took a really big risk and I called out that Catholic Church. I took this long paper and I wrote out all the reasons why I hate the church, and then I just took it and I put it on the front of the church so everyone could see it. It's basically 95 reasons why I think the church is awful. There's a whole bunch of other people who think the same thing.
Yes, they're called Protestants.
Because of Martin, a bunch of these other religions started popping up eventually. Lutheranism and Calvinism.
The whole political spectrum's been completely altered.
You know, between you and me, no one really believes the Pope anyways.
TBH, I think what he's doing is pretty great. So to me, this is why my Catholic doesn't like you. They're finally getting away from that corrupt Catholic Church. I think this is going to catch on. I mean, I think people are going to start getting enlightened.
Actually, by the 17th century, people in Europe will have started to become enlightened in an event literally called the Enlightenment.
Hello, Jim Halpert. What is this guy? F***ing crazy? He's coming at me for doing my job. Ow! Can't he just mind his own beeswax? Because of him, everyone in his little cult are starting to question my authority.
Again, it's not a cult.
You got a lot of that stuff in that 95 thesis wrong too. Oh, trust me, I wrote it all out.
Pope Leo did in fact write it all out. He published a document which contained every mistake and error that Luther made in the 95 theses. It was, however, burned by Martin Luther himself.
I'm ready for my close-up.
Martini Luther is like a god. Like, wow. Like, really? Like, your faves could never. An A-woke king gets scalped. Martin Luther really does deserve to be... Why am I saying this? I have my own project. But in all seriousness, Martin Luther deserves to be Man of the Year. I mean, come on. He changed the whole church and made them go through their own Reformation process. That's wild! To wrap it all up, everything in Europe and in the church would be very messed up if it wasn't for Martin Luther.
That's all the time we have tonight, folks. I've been your host, Hannah Vance, on the Hannah Vance Show with Hannah Vance, starring Hannah Vance. We'll see you next time.